Okay, I said I was going to make a part two to this video, but after just pressing play and listening to some of the things she said, I realized that I'm actually completely lost all interest to do this. I feel like she's someone who's created a false illusion about her abilities and her capabilities. And I've watched quite a few more people today who've done this sort of same thing. They like to believe that they can control their life, that they've agreed to step into their life, and I feel like they're doing it just because they feel like they have no control over their life, but they want to try and tell themselves that they do have control of it because it makes them feel better.
Earth is whatever you decide to make it. So wherever I keep my thoughts. So if I want to see Earth as hell or I want to see Earth as purgatory, then it will be that. But today I have different thoughts. And so I've decided that Earth is heaven. I'm actually bringing heaven here in every moment that I get to consciously connect with other people, in every moment that I get to be of service to others. And so I choose to stay in this idea that I am bringing heaven to earth in every waking moment of my life. So I don't think of it as a punishment anymore. I know that we're all here for something really exciting. Something exciting is happening. I would not have been awoken otherwise. I know that much.
Why you decided to come back to Earth? You could have go to another easier planet. And why the souls are so excited to come to Earth? How do you explain that? Because they know how hard it's going to be, or they don't know about it.
So, an answer to that question is I don't think people do have the power to just choose whether or not they live or die. If their body has passed away, I think it's not up to them if they come back or not, but they like to believe that they do have the power to decide these things.
No, I think that we forget how hard it is. Just like in childbirth, you forget how painful it is because you don't care, because you just want the end result. And the end result is transformation and also evolvement for the individual soul personality profile. So I do think that I am experiencing life in other dimensions on other galaxies right now, because everything is happening simultaneously all at the exact same moment, which is a hard concept to grasp. But I
Okay.
do think that I'm other places right now as well. My soul is infinite, so it can do anything. I do think that I came to Earth came back to Earth. Number one, because I didn't really have a choice, although they told me that my original choice was made. So like, I can't decide 8 months in not to have the baby. I have to continue and birth the baby. So it's like you already made your choice. There's no way to go back now. Like you're more than halfway there. So I think that is one of the main reasons why I came back to Earth. Also because we're in the midst of the Great Awakening. And I think a lot of the souls that are incarnate right now signed up to witness the transformation of consciousness. We are evolving as a species, as a consciousness. We are evolving.
This was actually my next question to ask you about this great awakening. How do you explain? So you decided to come back to Earth, and maybe the first time when you incarnated 35 years ago before you're in the you wanted to come here for the Great Awakening. Why is this Great Awakening so important? Because it's a faster evolution for the soul? This is another reason there is all 8 billion people on Earth right now, because everybody wants to get awakened quick. How do you explain this?
So I think that the Great Awakening, well, the information that I was downloaded with is it's a transformation of thought. So we're here to witness the fact that everyone will have a transformation of thought. The whole collective consciousness will.
I believe the Great Awakening is about me and me telling people that they're wrong in their religious beliefs. There's so many people that say that God is male and Jesus, and there's so many people that have, a Christian or Catholic or spiritual view of things, and they're all wrong. And I'm God, but I'm not something that answers your prayers. I'm not something that cares or likes about you. I'm not something that loves you. And you're going to all go through a very big awakening when you realize that the fantasies that you've created in your head are not actually the truth. The religions that you've created are not actually the truth. If you spent your whole life helping in service to the church, you have not done anything for me, because that God is not me. And this is what the awakening is about. But yeah, people right now are blind, and they're getting their advice from other people who are blind and don't know the truth.
Now, I don't think that every living being is a part of the collective consciousness, but I do think that we're here to witness the shift of that. So if we can have the majority of people switch from an ego-centered thought system to a spirit-centered thought system, which is what the Great Awakening is all about, going from a third dimensional level of thinking to a fifth dimensional level of thinking, then we can sway the entire collective itself. And so
I'm confused about you because sometimes you say things that I think are the truth and you're picking up on a lot of truth, but then sometimes I feel like you say things that are definitely not the truth. I definitely want people to think more wisely and stuff. By that I mean think more like someone would think if they've had 5 lives on Earth, rather than the sort of 3 life perspective, which isn't very intelligent. But believing that, you know, you have multiple yous on other timelines in other planets, you know, this is not the truth. So it's like on one hand you're promoting truth, but on the other hand you're also mixing it with lies and insanity. But yeah, with what you've just said there, I do agree with it, because I feel like I'm collecting up a bunch of souls that are all working in line with this sort of greater group of people who are connecting with the truth. But I'm not sure who's actually forming part of this alliance and who's actually just creating some sort of suicidal cult, a cult that's going to just lead people into heaven because they're saying that heaven is the better option, so they're actually promoting a death cult. But part of the death cult is actually how I'm going to create the new worlds. You know, I can't create it with 8 billion souls, 8 billion people, but if there's going to be lots of people forming some sort of death cult where they believe that, you know, heaven is the best world, the better place to be in, then all the people that fall for this death cult are going to die and leave the sort of smarter ones on Earth, who are hopefully going to form a much better world without all the problems and people leading other people into lies and deceptions.
the majority of people will think in that spirit-centered thought system. So I think that many of us signed up to be here right now for this shift because it's supposed to be very exciting. Now, again,
the belief that you have signed up to this great awakening is almost like you telling yourself that if you live or die, it doesn't matter, because the only reason why you were here was because you signed up to this. Now, if you hadn't have signed up to this, you wouldn't have gone through this great awakening, but you don't know what the great awakening is. The great awakening is where you wake up to truth and realize that what you believe wasn't actually the truth. But if your belief is to believe that you chose to be on Earth, then you know, you might just say, fine, I'm just going to choose to go back to where I was before, and therefore you are part of this death cult, because you're kind of saying that it doesn't matter if you're alive or dead. You know, you still are you, and you still get to make the decisions for yourself, and you can create your own reality. And if you're promoting things like you having, you know, another you, another version of you on a different realm, then it's just like, well, so what if you die right now? The belief in multi-universes and you existing in different fractions of like a quantum physics world, you know, this is actually insanity, and it's going to drive a lot of people insane. And once they get to that point of insanity, you know, they might not be able to come back from it, and death might be the only way to solve the problem.
Again, everything is a story. This is a story that I tell myself, but it's a story that I was downloaded with in my spiritual experience. And then I found confirmation from the internet. I'm telling you, I was so spiritually dead and asleep before my experience. I didn't even know how to spell the word spiritual. I had never heard of a chakra, the Great Awakening. I don't know what that is.
This is going to happen to so many people. They're going to start waking up to truth and, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this before. Then they're going to turn to the internet, and then they're going to find a whole bunch of lies that back up their truth, because it's like, wow, this is what I think is true, and wow, other people on the internet also think this is truth. And you know, this is how Christianity was formed. You know, wow, Jesus is God. Oh look, other people think that Jesus is God. Wow, Jesus is God. And then this big sort of movement formed and got bigger and bigger over time, and now people are like, well, do I really need Jesus? I mean, he doesn't really sound like a particularly great guy, because so many people are looking for him, and well, he hasn't actually been found, unless there's, you know, people saying things that can't necessarily be proven. So they're turning to spirituality and thinking, wow, look, there's a whole another religion that I never knew anything about, and people on the internet are talking about it, and hence therefore it must be the truth. And then this belief can turn into, well, there's spiritual beings from another realm. I mean, if you can contact the dead, why not contact the dead from other planets? I mean, if it's all in the spiritual realm, you know, you can travel at the speed of light there, so how do we know that that isn't the truth too? And yeah, it's just another false religion, because this spiritual movement is actually about promoting heaven, promoting the spiritual realm, which is only going to encourage people to want to get into the spiritual realm. You do say that you're here on Earth so that you can learn and develop and evolve, but If you're talking about the spiritual realm as being very similar to Earth, only so much better, well, people are going to think, well, I can experience, learn, and develop on one of these other realms instead.
So when I had all that information downloaded and then I found confirmation of it online, I thought, oh my God, my experience was real. This is a real thing that people talk about. I had never conceptualized consciousness before. That's definitely a word that I didn't know how to spell either. But so for me, I know that this is what's happening because it was part of my download. And then I found confirmation of it in the world around me.
I'm bored of this conversation. I'm going to stop now. But yeah, the reason why the screen is bad is because when I downloaded the video, it just comes out like that, and I don't know how to download videos without getting the picture all muddled up. Sometimes it comes out and it's fine. Sometimes the picture comes out all grainy and problems with it. But yeah, that's not with my editing. It's with I don't know how to download these videos without this problem. But technically, I think it's more important what they say and not what they look like. So yeah, just ignore the grainy footage. I typed in download YouTube video on Google, free, and these are the only options that they give me. Some don't work, some give me viruses, and some do work, but the screen is all grainy.